Hi all, let's discuss this question from Further Maths Year 2022 paper May-June 3-3. So in this question, it is asking you to find the coefficient of restitution in the given condition when your particle strikes the surface AB at an angle theta with velocity u, and then it rebounds and strikes the other surface, that is BC. Now the given condition where you need to start the question from is that after the first collision 40% of its kinetic energy is lost. So when it strikes AB, 40% of the energy is lost. So we will start the question from here and find the value for coefficient of restitution E. Alright, so for this question, what you have to do is you have to first of all, I'll just make the assumptions like after this velocity, it is moving away with a velocity, let's say V, and then there is an angle at which it is moving, so I'll assume it alpha. So the first thing we do is the question says after first collision, it loses 40% of its kinetic energy. So I will say kinetic energy after the first collision is equal to 40% of its initial kinetic energy, right? 40% of its initial kinetic energy. Okay, so then I'll just elaborate this concept. So kinetic energy after the first collision is half of mv square. So let's write it there, half of mv square, and kinetic energy initial is half of mu square. So 4 divided by 10, half of mu square. Now mass and mass can cancel off, so we are left and also the half and half. So v square is supposed to be 0.4 u square, and I'll keep this for later. Now the next thing is they are asking us to find the coefficient of restitution. So coefficient of restitution simply has one formula, that the kinetic energy, the velocity of moving away divided by the velocity of approach. So this is the velocity moving away, but if you remember, we have two components. So we have two components of velocity. One will be in this direction and the other one will be here. So this is going to be u cos theta, and this is going to be u sine theta. And similarly for this moving away, we'll have two components going this way and going this way at the end actually. So I'll just draw them here. So this one is going to be, if this is alpha, this is alpha, so this is v cos alpha, and this is going to be v sine alpha. Now, the change of the coefficient of restitution takes place only in the one that is towards the striking direction. So, in this case, this is the velocity that will be affected. So, coefficient of restitution is simply the sine, the moving away divided by the approach. So, v sine alpha divided by u sine theta. Now the question gives us the value for tan theta. So the question says that tan theta is 2. So if tan theta is 2, we can get the value of sine theta, that will be 2 by root 5, and you can get the value of cos theta as well, that will be 1 by root over 5. Okay, so let's try to find this sine alpha now. We need this value. So for that, we have two more components, if you remember, this one and this one, and these two components are like the vertical ones. So in this case, they are going to be equal, like every time the vertical component is equal. So we will just say that u cos theta is equal to the v cos alpha, v cos alpha. And a while ago I found out the value of cos theta, that is 1 by root 5. So u 1 by root 5 is equal to v cos alpha. So I can say that cos alpha is u over v root 5. And so if that is cos alpha and I am trying to find sine alpha from here, we can find it, right? So if you cannot do that, like that. You can imagine it to be a triangle, right angle triangle. Now this is the opposite adjacent. So let's say this is the alpha, so this is the adjacent and this is the hypotenuse, but we need to find the opposite for finding sine alpha. So we can simply use the Pythagoras theorem that says v square root 5 would be a 5, root square 5 would be a 5, u square, and then your unknown. Okay, so x would be root 5 v square minus u square. In this case, sine alpha would be x, the opposite by the hypotenuse. So opposite by the hypotenuse. So that is it. But remember the relationship we draw previously, that v square is 0.4 u square. So we can replace it here. Sine alpha, v square is, just put that here, 5 times of 0.4 u square minus u square divided by v root 5. Is that a root 5? Yes, okay. So in that case, we can just solve for that and get the value of sine alpha. So sine alpha should be 5 times 0.4 is 2 u square minus u square divided by v root 5. So I'll just directly write it like, what's this? 2 minus 1 is a 1. So it's just directly a u over v root 5. That is sine alpha. Let's take it here. So E is supposed to be v. Sine alpha we just found out like u over v root 5. And u sine theta is 2 by root 5. So let's write it there, 2 by root 5. Now we can cancel the v and v. So we are left with u by root 5 times root 5 by 2u. Cancel, cancel. Cancel the u as well. It's just 1. So the answer would be 1/2 for this question.